Ladies and gentlemen, this is the crazy game that was a 99% for me. Kind of a bizarre, unexpected occurrence. So, this guy is trying to play either a Slav, a semi-Slav, or a Karo Khan. So, I'm trying to just reroute that to something less familiar for this guy. Turns out, I got lucky. I did catch him in something he was unfamiliar with. So now black plays knight d7, which obviously is a great move. I didn't know it was the best move he could play. His plan is simple, e5. And so he's looking at this as some non-threatening, generic position for white. It's pretty much what it is, for the most part. So I'm of the opinion that we're not playing e5 for black anytime soon. So he's like, well, I really can do it. That's true. Now, clearly when I'm playing the game, I don't see the double question marks because I don't have to. And I'll show you why in another one in just a second. This is a known mega blunder. It's an opening trap, I guess. Can you find the winning move? Pause the video and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1, Shazam! We're back. This is the move that exploits it. And I'm going to show you the position of how I learned this lesson 40 years ago. He plays the reflexive and only move. It's literally the only move available, well, except for resign. So in this one, it was like, what do you play here? Pause the video, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1, Shazam again. Play this move. I'm like, okay, if he's going to do it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to queen sacrifice. I mean, what the heck? It's all the same, but it just looks a little better for the presentation. The only legal move, and Shazam, you're checkmated. So, every once in a while you catch a guy off guard by a crazy move order, which from the perspective of this guy, obviously a good player, over 2,000, he was over 2,100, bullet player, but you catch a good player off guard in an unfamiliar opening, and weirdness can happen, and it doesn't get much weirder than this, does it? So I'm going to end this clip, and I'm going to show you. I have to actually go and get the regular board to make a clip to show you the lesson of where I learned how this works. So stick with me. We'll be right back in just a second. Okay, this is the lesson that I learned way back over 40 years ago, like 1981, at our chess club at the college. And we played all kinds of stuff. And back in chess club, saw a lot of double king pawn games. Knight F3. Some guys would play, a handful of guys would play Fildor's defense. A handful of guys, maybe one guy would play the Petrov defense. And then most people played the Queen's Knight. And then, you'd have, of course, one guy would play the Hungarian some people, handful, would play Ruy Lopez. A lot of them played bishop to c4, gioco piano. So gioco piano standard is bishop c5. But a lot of people were having great success at the lower, this is below 1500 level, or 1500 and below, of playing two knights defense. Okay. And then you started running, if you played two knights defense, well then someone figured out that they could do this. And this became, this sets up the fried liver attack. So one of those things, it's very vicious. This here, this is the fried liver attack. White has sacrificed a knight. He's plus 1.69. He's a piece down and he's still 1.69. So this is this tremendous position. It's a plus 2 now. This is the fried liver attack. Anyway, very dangerous, etc. So to avoid said attack, I was goofing around playing my computer, which was not very good, but it was better than nothing. I came up with this idea and was cleaning clock. It was all good. This turns out to be a defense called the Damiano defense. Damiano was a very good player in its day, like one of the best in the world actually. But turns out that this defense has a hideous flaw. And the hideous flaw of this defense is that this is a nasty weakening of the f7 square. Knight captures. Now, once you've seen it in action, a smart player would not do anything else except play this, realizing that he's been had. This is probably the best move there is. And it's terrible. This is even worse. Why is this worse? Well, look at this move that you have. Crunch. Now you have, it's bad. This is better, but almost nobody would play that move. They're going to play this reflexively. Super crunch. Okay, so the Damiano's defense is bad and is punished by knight captures e5. It's just horrible, in fact. So the video you saw of the game that I played, explanation of this position, not this specific position, but this is, it has the main functions. The weakening, it teaches you the idea that this is weak and that it can be exploited. Now it gets exploited differently because of a bishop being developed versus a knight. So that's the thing, but the idea comes from the same f6 root of garbage. I learned this because we had, most of the players in our club, like every club really, were under 1500, including yours truly and my father. Okay, but we had it, the club started somewhere, and then my dad came up with the idea that, hey, it was all going well, and it was moving from place to place, and at one time we had it at the college because they had a cafeteria we could use. And since my dad was the head of the art department at the college, he had access to the custodian or whoever was in charge of the cafeteria student center building, and so we played there. And so most of the people under 1500. Then we had a couple of guys, 2 or 3 above. Had one guy who was 1900, and another guy who was over 2000, and he later became a master. The guy who was 1900 was a very good player. He's about low 30s, between 30 to 35. Really good player. I was like 19 at the time. So I played this against him, and this is where I learned smash. He smashed me. So that's okay. That's cool. So he smashed me and then explained the whole dealio. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I got the beating. And he gave me the lesson explaining, how terrible it was, et cetera, et cetera. Not that I was terrible, although this is terrible, right? It wasn't a personal thing. It was just like, this defense is just horrible once you understand the weakness that it creates. And so he explained this, and this, it was a really good lesson. So this is one of the things that we had in chess club back in the day. This is before there's internet chess. You had chess clubs. You didn't have this browser-based action. So you had to go to chess club. You go to chess club, and you never know who's going to be there. But there was 30 or 40 guys that would come and go. Not everybody was there every week, but we were hardcore. So you would get free lessons from better players. You'd see games between other guys that you had never seen before. So there's a lot of exposure that you get, you can get it on some of that exposure on YouTube. You get some of that exposure, some more, some less, some is better than others. It's not the same. To me, it was better if you have a chess club, okay? But not everybody has that. Some people live in really low population areas where there just isn't any action. In my area, it's not low population, yet there's no chess clubs or going around right now in my area. And I'm in a suburb of Houston, which is, the number 4 city in America. So I'm not talking just about someplace in Idaho with low population. It can be right here in a major suburb. So whatever. For those of you who are younger, maybe you have this, explanation will mean more if you've never been to a chess club. Chess club was like Pokemon League. My kids went into Pokemon League, and so I took them, I played Pokemon with them just so we have, whatever. Well, it was my oldest son when my younger son was just a baby. So I played Pokemon with my son, and so we would go to Pokemon League, and so he had a chess club for him. He didn't play chess really, but it's the same thing. Pokemon League and chess club is the same, and I'm sure it's the same thing wherever they have for Yu-Gi-Oh. But it's comparable. But you learn a lot of things because when you go to Pokemon League or chess club, there's guys that you meet that you become friends with because you guys are just the right kind of match of dudes, and so you have great fun playing games. It's almost exactly the same. Only the game has changed, but the experience is very similar. But you'll get information from other players in games or whatever that you play or they play, and you'll see guys talking about stuff like just a game, and then again comes a position, and then so you have guys talking about, well, I did this, or can we do this, or whatever. Just random analysis happens. Really good stuff. So if you ever get a chance to go to chess club, go to a chess club. It's pretty awesome. You know, don't be afraid to be the new guy because it's like it's cool. It's always good. It's like it's not a bunch of dorks. Well, it is sort of, but usually they're pretty friendly. So it's always cool. So go do the chess club. If you have a chess club in your area, I suggest you go. It's really there's a lot of lessons you can learn that it's just that the atmosphere is different. So this was how I learned it, and I just figured I would show you the genesis of how I learned this F6 is a bad move lesson. I showed you the exact thing that I got smashed with. Okay, he smashed me good, but it was like the point of the smashing was that, and it was not even, it was not a rated game. But you learn from the smash, and it's a lesson that I'm passing now along to whomever of you is watching this video. So this is the thing, you get these killer lessons, and I give you the explanation of the story. That guy was really good. I hadn't seen him, after chess club, whatever, dissipated. I saw him again later when I was a higher rated player than he was. I was in the 2000s and he was still 1950-ish, whatever. And he never talked to me again. So that's pretty funny. It was like he saw me. I'm like, hey, you're 19 years old, not as good as him. And then, at one point, I didn't see him for many years and came back, and it's like, oh, you're better than me now. Well, whatever. Never saw him again. So my dad never liked him either. The other guy who was became a master, real nice guy. Like my dad. My dad, got along with him pretty good. He was a little annoying, but he was a really good player, smart guy. Always nice to me, helped me out a little bit. I only played him one time, and we ended up in a draw. That was a really good game. So one of those things that that was probably 15 years after we had been in chess club together, and that was at the Shark tank in Houston. I played him over there, so it was pretty fantastic. So chess club was great for me. It should be great for you. That's my recommendation. So whatever. So hopefully you learned, from the smashing that I took 40 years ago in 1981, and enjoyed the stories. So I'll talk to you guys later. This is a bonus, episode, because I finished the video that you have already seen, and then I played this game when this is several days later, a week later, whatever it is. I can't believe that somebody else played exactly the same thing, and technically, like an idiot, I finished the checkmate the same way, but I should have finished it the other way so you could see for sure that it was different. But it was just odd and sort of, interesting. The heck is that? Oh yes, got it. So I'm here to stop e5, which happened, and he played the same thing. So this was exactly what happened, and just it does happen from time to time, but you rarely see the same exact moves again in a short victory game. So very bizarre. I just thought it was so odd. I would show it to you and just to let you know, hey, weird stuff happens. This was one of the weird things. But like I said, like an idiot, I should have played bishop takes, and then queen takes for the mate, and that way we had would have been two different ones. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It was a curiosity, but it was a different guy. This guy was 1700 and change. He wasn't as good as the original, the player in the original version, where I caught him off guard. And this one, he got caught off guard the same way. He knew e5 was a good move conceptually, but the sneaking lack of understanding of the f6 weakness is what cost him. So anyway, this is just, like I said, a little bonus showing you just, I don't know, whatever. Just take it for whatever it is. Just kind of a curiosity. Real bizarre. But, there it is. Do with it as you will. And I'll see you guys in the next video.